Welcome to the Elevating Leaders series, where we go beyond the headlines and straight to the people who are redefining insurtech and business transformation. We've caught up with the visionaries and the pioneers that are currently driving the industry forward, bringing you exclusive insights, strategies, and stories you won't hear anywhere else. If you're ready to go deeper, this is your front row seat to the future of insurance. I'm Miguel Edwards, and this is 5 Minutes.
Insurance is something no one wants to buy. No one's like actively saying, oh, I want to buy insurance. No one wants to pay their monthly premiums, right? So every interaction with an insurance company is based off of some negative experience, right? And then you have a claim. Is this an opportunity for now insurance as an industry, your company, to redeem itself?
I think so. I think that's the only time you're going to have a positive impact. Even then, you have a lot of the third parties that are trying to influence and saying insurance companies are robbing you, they're not paying you enough money. You have a negative view from various different entities, right? Trying to, whether it's legal or non-legal companies coming to you as a policyholder and saying they're not giving you what you're worth, they're not giving you what the claim is worth. I think it's a great opportunity for insurance companies to come through and demonstrate the value that they bring. I had an adjuster who got us a 5-star review on a claim that we denied. It was a total loss claim, and it was fully denied. I think it was like $400,000 policy, and he received a 5-star review. And it was simple as listening to the customer and understanding what were the true needs of that person. They didn't have specific type of coverage, and I think it's beyond that, right? I think it's not necessarily where you're just explaining, hey, this is where it says on page number 548 that you don't have coverage. It's about walking them through and explaining to them why it's not covered, what other avenues you have. You're truly an advocate for the policyholder.
So you started off by talking about the incredibly human element, and it's a very human aspect of the overall insurance lifecycle. But now we've got to talk about how we bring technology now in to help with those interactions. Interestingly enough, today in one of the kickoff events, Red Hand Advisors did a whole RIMIS survey that they do every every year, and they talk about how habitually claims is the most underinvested portion of every company, of every insurance company. Validate that. Do you think that that's true? And then, how does that jive with some of the trends you're seeing?
I think it's true to a certain degree. Are companies investing in claims departments? Yes, right? I think, are they investing as much as what's going into the underwriting departments? No, right? I mean, underwriting is bringing in the revenue.
Right.
Our focus is only claims. So we're the industry's claims department. And, my charge from my global CEO is to make sure we're investing heavily into the things that are actually going to make an impact, right? We're talking about technology. Everybody's jumping on the bandwagon of AI and generative AI. It can solve this for you. It can solve that for you, right? Just like the computers came. The computers didn't solve anything. It's all the specific things that those companies needed the computers to do. That's what solved the problem.
Right.
And I think just because you throw technology at it, just because you throw a process at it, doesn't mean it's going to be the solution. The solution itself has to be very unique and specific to the need. We're investing very heavily into building the future of claims because that's all we do, and that is our revenue generator. For insurance companies, it may not be as heavy of a focus, but I think companies are coming around to it because now you're seeing these massive litigated matters that are coming through. You're seeing nuclear verdicts coming along, and I think companies are realizing that they need to step up and they need to do something different.
Sure. No, that makes sense. So when you think about that investment, always like where is that investment really materializing from a tech perspective? Is it in the AI front, or is it just in kind of run-of-the-mill automation and business process automation? Like where are you seeing a lot of that investment?
I think it's both.
Okay.
I think every single company is investing in AI today.
Yeah, right?
If they're not, then they're fooling themselves or fooling the public. But at the end of the day, I think everybody knows that it's needed. But I think we haven't, as an industry or as a world, like everybody in this world hasn't figured out what exactly can we use that towards.
Okay.
You have all of these smaller pocket solutions that have been developed, but there's not a cohesive view of how all these solutions come together. And I think that's the missing piece. You can solve for letter writing, for example, through a platform. You could solve for, adjudication or intake or anything like that. But how do you embed all of that together, and how do you make that experience for your policyholders? How do you make that experience for your adjusters, your underwriters, and how do you make that experience overall as a whole to make sure that people don't really sit there and think about that, hey, I'm using generative AI. And I think that's where the disconnect is, because anybody that's used ChatGPT can attest to, you sat there for a half hour and you searched for things that mean nothing to you. Is that really productive?
Right.
You got to have that technology embedded into your solution, embedded into your process.
Thank you for joining this episode of 5 Minutes. If you've enjoyed our discussion, we'd love for you to share it with anyone else you think might find it interesting. Also, please subscribe on whatever podcast platform you're listening on and hit that bell to stay on top of the game with our practical 5-minute episodes. We look forward to seeing you again next week.